Hey, this is Paula, and you are at the Meme Ranch. Today we have an explosive story. It's Tucker's interview with Mr. Sinclair from the Obama. What was it called?
Blow Obama gate.
The Blow Obama Gate. And there's a lot in that interview, but I think for the audience sake, we're going to just narrow it down and focus on the part that probably you care about the most, the part that really matters. We're gonna focus on, I guess, the important detail that basically outlines how if you go off script about people who are in positions of power, they'll cut off the access. So that it's a chilling effect on the media and just people who create content. So let's take a look at the clip here with Kaylin.
Yeah, YouTube gave access to the account and the video was deleted. Microsoft gave access to my Hotmail account and all of my emails were circulating the internet, and vacation replies were set up on my email telling people that I was busy giving blowjobs and would get back with them when I was done. And oh yeah.
Tucker's
That was a dumbfounded moment for Tucker.
That was classic Tucker right there.
Yeah, he'd been practicing that one.
Well, so they're basically, if I understood that right, so not only did they take his YouTube account, I guess YouTube did, but they left a kind of a strange reply.
Yeah, so basically, what he's saying is kind of underscoring the level of censorship that he endured at that time whenever he was coming forward with the story around the 2008 campaign. And what he details in a minute, or what he just said previously, I can't remember, but he basically gets into how the media were being told by members of the Obama campaign, allegedly, that they were going to be revoked access to Obama around the time if they had run a story featuring Mr. Sinclair's allegations. And I mean, basically, the whole cusp of that moment in the Tucker interview is them just saying, how much Obama was a historic candidate and they wanted him to win. They being his supporters.
Or they didn't want him to be disqualified, because if that came out, it would have been such a devastating blow to his image. He would not have been elected. That literally changed history.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And to me, it's like, it doesn't matter to me for 1 second if this interview, or if the story, I should say, is true. The only thing that matters to me is the fact, like, just like the Biden laptop, if a story like this had gotten out before Obama's election, it could have completely changed things around. And it's one of those things where I mean, it needs to be heard in the court of public opinion, and not just resurface like now in 2023, just to kind of, add more, conspiracy smears around Obama, whether they're just or unjust. But it's like, this should have been a mainstream story at the time that all of this was being told by Sinclair. And
let's take that thought one step further, Kaylin, because just to be clear, we're hearing this on X. Had Elon Musk not purchased X, if Tucker was still with Fox, guess what? We still wouldn't hear this story.
Yeah. No, I mean, literally, no outlet would have run this story at the time. And to me, Tucker bringing this story to X as part of his new sort of platform, it's not really just a big middle finger to Obama, but it's more of like a middle finger to the industry, because nobody would be willing to run these types of stories. And it's I think that's why it's a story from that long ago that is being resurfaced now, because it's kind of like just pointing back in time and being like, oh, hey, look, this guy, he was completely dismissed and not able to even get his story being told by, many people who would have told the story about someone else, if it had happened, say to Trump or another candidate. It's all these allegations that, seem to always be pointed at people whenever they're, in a moment or spotlight, like look at Brett Kavanaugh, even though, it's talking about, this woman who, knew him years ago, and it's about these college parties and things like that. Like, those stories get taken seriously. This guy, Sinclair's story, to me, there's more that needs to be corroborated for me to really believe it. But I think it's, still a testament that it should have been told more openly at the time, in my opinion.
That's a great point. I mean, whether or not it's true or not, it's his story. So maybe we should listen to, if he's actually had access to being in that situation, we should at least hear him out. And it really points to what's going on with the upcoming election and the upcoming scandals that the White House has found itself in. Is there's so much that is being repressed because of this chilling effect that the media, the relationship that traditional media has, and these personalities, these, corporate content creators have with the people they're supposed to be covering. If they say something that is going to be frowned upon, their access is pulled back. So I think this is why right now this is coming out, this story, this Obama blowgate story is coming out with Tucker on X, is for that very reason. It's Tucker's way to say, hey, this is an issue. And if it's existed here, it's going to exist in these other stories that you're getting ready to hear now.
Yeah, leave your thoughts on what this whole shebang should be called in the comments, whether Blowgate or Blowobama Gate or whatever it should be. I don't know. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm just going to play a little bit more of this interview because it gets a little bit more interesting after this point. We'll just go ahead.
Obama to be president.
Yep, and they
really wanted
me
Obama to be president.
The biggest fraud and nutcase that ever existed.
Wow.
So I got to ask you, I mean, I wasn't there. I can only assess what you're saying. I don't see any obvious motive for you for gain, financial gain. You're not going to get rich doing this. And in fact, you haven't. You've gotten impoverished.
He reminds me of the laptop repairman for Hunter Biden.
Like if I'm a reporter, well, I was a reporter at the time. I remember thinking, well, that's an interesting story.
The blind guy.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like nobody in the media wanted to follow up with you. And some people like Ben Smith at Politico, who's a liar and a shill posing as a journalist, I reread the piece last night that he wrote saying, oh, it's ridiculous. Right off the first graph, it's ridiculous, these claims.
Well, I think I have an answer for why a lot of reporters did not want to follow up.
Here it goes. This is the part.
I think it would have something to do with what David Axelrod told a old Chicago Sun-Times reporter, or no, a Chicago Tribune reporter.
David Axelrod to a Chicago Tribune reporter.
Axelrod had been a reporter in Chicago before he went into politics.
Well, John Crutzen worked for the Chicago Tribune. And John Crutzen actually came to Duluth, Minnesota and sat down with me and talked with me. And John Crutzen had told me point blank that before he had flown out, that he had spoken to Axelrod, and that Axelrod had told him that they were aware of who I was and that it was their intentions to destroy me, and that if any reporter had mentioned me to them, they would be completely cut off, and that outlet would be completely cut off from access to the Obama campaign for the duration of the year. So I think that had a lot to do with why reporters didn't bring
hit pause.
That right there needs to be corroborated. That's the part that to me needs to be immediately, asked about. I mean, I want to go, personally to the reporter that, told him that purportedly told him this, and ask him like, what is this exactly what was said to him?
Why would they give you an honest answer to that question though?
I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, it's like, I think you got to trace back all the steps, and I think that everyone would have a motivation to lie about something like that, especially if it's coming out now. But I think at the end of the day, I would love to go straight to the same reporter that he's saying.
I mean, just everybody out there, just put the whole Obama sex scandal thing idea of that aside and just look at this as what this guy just said. He had something, they didn't want to come out, and they were willing to destroy him personally and to go after and destroy any reporter, any content creator out there that was going to corroborate or help get his story to the public. That's just, that ain't good.
No, it certainly is not good. It's, yeah, it would be the most, it'd be the most historic cover up for sure. I mean, it would be, quite something, if every part of it is true. So that's the thing though. I mean, it's like, it's great that, Tucker is able to put out this kind of content if he really, thinks about it. I've been told that Tucker, doesn't like to be told what to do. I mean, I think most people can kind of see that, but I know from someone that he really just despises being told what to do. So I think that he probably had a bucket list of things that he's been wanting to do since he had gotten really big, and just probably had like a list of things. And whenever he was finally able to do his independent show on X, I think he just got straight to the list.
I mean, do you think this story would date back as far as Tucker working for whoever back in that day, back in 2007?
Oh, for certain. I mean, I think if you do enough digging on this story, you can find a lot of it. A lot of this has been around for a while. These allegations.
So he's basically sat on this whole time.
I would say he just knew about it, and probably wasn't thinking about it every day, but I'm sure it was something that he had probably written down somewhere. I don't know, but I mean, I think that for this to happen now, the only other thing I can think of is maybe this guy Sinclair reached out to him and said like, hey, I want to put my story out there or something. I don't want to claim to know all the details of how this happened, but it just seems like the kind of story that Tucker would definitely have some backwards knowledge on. I think a lot of people probably heard about this guy around the time, and Tucker's been around for a while. And I find it hard to believe that this was the first time he had heard about this guy. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Who knows?
So what impact do you think this is going to have? The fact that this guy's coming out and giving his account.
Well, I think that a lot of people, like, I think I've even seen some people, there was like this libertarian, girl that I follow, who was kind of like making a joke earlier, like I don't care who Obama fucked, so I think there's
that.
What?
Apparently somebody does.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I just think you're going to get a variety of attitudes about this. And, I think it's just going to create more theories. Like, I think it's going to perpetuate the whole, like, Michael Obama, memes and stuff like that. I think, you're probably going to just keep seeing more of that. And it feels like a new arc in the Obama conspiracy gate. I think, like a long time ago, I was almost too small to even like remember all this, but I know, everyone was so obsessed with like his birth certificate. And, this kind of feels like, a post-presidency like version.
Hillary started it and then Trump picked it up.
Oh, how did Hillary start it? Remind me.
She was his opponent in the primary.
And she had that.
The Hillary camp floated the Obama birth certificate first, and then obviously Trump picked it up. See,
that's one of those things that I'm just like I totally missed it because I was like too small at that time. But man, it's wild out there. And do a little bit of research. After watching this interview, if you watch the full thing, there's this whole sub arc about this man who was I can't remember the name of him right now, but it's the son. There's this woman who lost her son, and it's this guy who is like in a choir, and I think he like knew Obama. It's the guy that what's his face? The guy that we're looking at right now, Sinclair, is like purporting to claim. I'm getting all my like alleged like purported like things mixed up. Anyways, there is like a Clinton like sort of like death conspiracy involved in this whole thing. Like there's allegedly someone who died in order to protect Obama. Like one of those situations where it's like too much. That's why there's also the memes right now that Tucker didn't kill himself. Because I feel like it's kind of a fusion of like the Clinton
because of this interview.
Yeah, because of this interview. Yeah, I think also because I think Tucker's planning to do an interview with Putin. Maybe like is
that going to happen, or is it just a rumor?
It's been a rumor for all I can see.
Mm-hmm.
But
so you said last night that's why Jackson Hinkle was on Timcast in preparation for the Tucker interview with Putin.
That was my thought. Yeah, Jackson Hinkle, if you're out there, how's it going? I think I think Tim probably wanted Jackson on the podcast because I think Jackson had been talking about this Tucker interview with Putin. Jackson's been on Tucker's show before. That's where he brought MAGA communism to the fray. Introduced MAGA communism to Fox News. Yeah, and so I think Jackson probably, he's been showing interest in.
So did Jackson ever say the words together, MAGA communism?
Yeah. He said MAGA communism.
He literally said it together. Did he explain it?
There wasn't a whole lot of explanation that I could find in it, but I think he did try to explain it, but I think that it's like an oxymoron.
Well, he did not explain it last night on Timcast. That's all I can say to that.
Did they discuss it? Did they?
I didn't watch the whole thing, so I don't know. I don't think. Honestly, the parts I saw, Tim was like, yeah, we could do that. Yeah, Jackson, that's a great idea. So I couldn't watch it, and it was a total bomb in my opinion. That show.
Yeah. We can rebuild the Soviet Union. That sounds great.
That's kind of what he was cheerleading for, really. Yeah. Bizarre.
Well, I don't want this video to go too long, but you guys let us know what you think about the Blue Obama gate. I think I have to just wait and see on this one. I want to do some more research, but these are just our initial reactions. We'll do follow up if apropos on this subject, and we'll keep you updated with more memes and shenanigans happening online.
Awesome.
All right. Well, take it easy and see you next time here on the Meme Ranch.
Later.